just business news, we're news for business people.
Good morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. In moments from now, we will have the listing of Galaxy surfactants. And for now, of course, the issue price is at around 1,480 rupees per share. In pre-opening, what we've seen is list at a 40 rupee premium on the Bombay Stock Exchange. Of course, we're awaiting its listing for now, which will happen any moment, as you can see here on the screen. And with that, we'll also see whether or not it does eventually list with a premium. And there's a likelihood that it will. So we will soon have the listing of, there you have it, we did see a listing of well over 1,540 rupees, currently trading 4.5% higher from its issue price. So we have seen a gain of around 66 points. It certainly has been a good listing, a reasonably strong listing and debut for Galaxy surfactants. Now edging even higher at around 1,564. So not a bad start, at least, Naveed, for the new IPO and new kid on the block.
Not at all. Even the subscription was pretty healthy. I think the IPO was subscribed nearly 20 times. They raised over 900 crores from the market, and it's a specialty chemical manufacturer player. And we've seen most of the chemical stocks doing pretty well in the last 1 year. And this one's new kid on the block. I think it's a pretty decent listing that what we are seeing on the screen, because the street was expecting the listing to be at a higher price of almost 40 to 50 from the IPO price of 1,480.
Right. Well, of course, we will keep tracking the price movements of
I think the good part is the price is only inching higher from
it's higher from here. That's right. In fact, now it's at 1,583.84, up 7% now. Like I said, we will keep giving you price movements of this debut. But let's take the headlines then. Indian markets hold steady in the opening hour of trade, with the heavyweights Infosys and HDFC leading the charts. And open interest in Cipla and SRF surges after traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. And three drug makers, including Kerala, Glenmark and Torrent Pharma, come out with their earnings today.
All right, let's take a look as to what's happening with the markets. Finally, actually, some respite coming in. There is some momentum which is there. In fact, post the opening, we've seen the markets inching higher only. And right now, Nifty trades above its 50-day moving average of 10,555, 90 points higher. But remember, the futures are still trading at a discount of nearly 4 to 5 points. Pull up the Bank Nifty futures. They will be in focus today as the weekly options expiry take place. So the Bank Nifty is inching very closer to its 50-day moving average, but yet below it, 25,837 is where the spot is trading, and the futures currently trade with a premium of almost 12 points. Well, the other good news is that the volatility is cooling off since the last two trading sessions. The India VIX is down almost closer to 5%. We'll bring up that template for you of India VIX. I think it's somewhere about 18.4 right now, trading with cuts of almost 5%. In terms of option strike, the most active contracts on Nifty right now are the 10,600 call strike, the 10,700 call strike too has been pretty active so far. In fact, we've seen unwinding for most of these call strikes, 600, 700, and on the put side, there's major writing that has come in for the 10,400 as well as the 10,500 strike. Well, as we mentioned, all eyes will be on Bank Nifty, which has been in focus after the monetary policy. Today is the weekly options expiry, so you can expect more volatility when it comes to the rates of Bank Nifty. But as of now, if you look at the maximum open interest, it is at 26,000 call as well as the 25,000 put. So the range is pretty wide what we're looking at. But as of now, the most active strikes is 26,000 call and the 25,800 call strike. So watch out for these levels. And in fact, if the expiry can take place, closer to the 26,000 mark, I think that's going to be very positive going ahead for Bank Nifty. In terms of institutions, well, FIs, they've been in focus because in the last three trading sessions, we've seen some selling in the cash segment from the foreign institutional investors, and they've also been building up short positions on the option side by they've been buying protection via put longs, and they've been also writing calls. And Agam, even if you look at the index futures data, we started this series when the FIs were 80% net long. That right. Number has now come down to almost 55%, which clearly signifies that they've been unwinding the longs and they've been building more short positions.
Absolutely, Navneet. Well, substantial momentum in two stocks. First one is Cipla. The underlying is up as much as 6%. It's meaning a substantial increase in open interest towards longs. And the second one is SRF, also up 5% in the underlying, and it has also gained as much as 14% in open interest. So a lot of longs building in both these counters. We'll be tracking more on these. But let's now pull up the list of increase in open interest. So there you have it. Torrent Power, of course, up as much as 14%. We're expecting a lot of activity there as well, considering the fact that we've seen the underlying move up by as much as 3%. SRF and Cipla have addressed, and Jet Airways, followed by Apollo Hospitals, also looking at anywhere between 10 to 12% increase in open interest. Jet Airways, of course, looking at fresh longs accumulation. And now, in terms of declines in open interest, let's pull up that list as well. Well, not too much to speak for. Berger Paints seeing a decline of 1.5%. That's followed by JB Associates, GMR Infra, Bosch and L&T Finance Holdings, all less than 1% drop in OI for the February futures, with very little to speak for when it's underlying as well. So on the whole, today's stocks of the day will be Cipla and SRF. Navneet.
That's right. In fact, Cipla has seen some strong reaction post the earnings. But in terms of sectoral indices as well, the Nifty Pharma Index has done pretty well. That's trading with gains of nearly 2%. And not only that, we've seen strong gains for Nifty Realty as well as the Nifty IT Pack. So watch out for all these sectors in today's session. Okay, that's about the markets. But before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding the futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook with AskPQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts then. Gaurav Bissa of LKP Securities and Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth joins us on the show now. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen, and thanks a lot for joining us today on Bloomberg Quinn. Ashish, let me come to you first. Our last interaction was you were looking at a level of 10,600 on Nifty on a closing basis. Yes. But how we've retreated from those, 10,350, 10,400 mark on Nifty, is the weakness over, or one can start looking at building long positions now?
Good morning, Navneet. So, selectively, yes, stocks, one can start looking for building up the position. But as far as, index levels are concerned, or confirmation of a clear trend reversal is concerned, definitely 10,600 is still a very, very important level. Although, on that particular day when we saw index hitting a low around 10,300, the good part was, we recovered the entire day's losses and filled the gap, which was a very crucial thing. Although till now we have not crossed that high, but still we are sustaining about 10,500, which itself is giving a lot of comfort. But I think confirmation is concerned, 10,600 above on a closing basis will clearly set the trend. But I think selectively mid-cap IT as a basket, we have recommended even on that day that, that looks quite interesting. Within that, Tech Mahindra, KPIT, Tata Elxsi, these are the names which I think we're showing good strength in a falling market. So I think still there we are seeing a good amount of trend on the upside. So I think would like to stick to long positions in stocks like KPIT, Tata Elxsi and Tech Mahindra.
Well, it's not unlikely that the Nifty could close about 10,600, considering it's not too far away from these levels, but we'll have to wait until the end of the day whether or not that happens. That said, Gaurav, I'll come to you. Good morning. How are you viewing the trade now? Because we are looking at a little bit of a change in taking up positions. What is your reading, and how are you expecting benchmarks to move from here?
Good morning. Well, as far as the trend is concerned, the closing of 10,500, 550 would be very crucial for me. And for Bank Nifty, there are multiple resistances. The first one at 26,000 spot levels, the major one at 26,400. So until unless we don't cross those levels, or we don't close above those levels, I would not be too gung-ho about the benchmark indices, as Ashish was just mentioning, that stock-specific opportunities are still there. So there are a lot of stocks that have seen a good bounce back. Some of them are giving small breakout sort of. So there are a lot of opportunities on stock-specific action. But as far as indices are concerned, I would not be banking too much. It's just that we have seen a bounce back. It's more of a relief rally, so to speak. We are not still out of the woods. I would give it some more time. I would play at higher levels rather than buying aggressively at these levels as far as indices are concerned.
Okay, that's the view on the markets. Let's shift our focus to the options corner and check what our experts are advising with regard to the option strategies for the day. Gaurav, I'll come back to you. What's the strategy for the day? I think you're recommending to buy the 25,200 call strike.
No, actually, I have given a short strangle for Nifty, wherein you sell 10,800 call option, 10,200 put option for combined premium of 100 rupee. As I mentioned, there's a strong resistance for Nifty at 10,700, 10,800. Previous was 10,276 in call. So one can expect the.
Where's Krupali?
Get back with him. But in the meantime, Ashish, how about you? How would you play the benchmark indices right now with respect to options cautiously?
Definitely caution will be there, because we have not crossed 10,600, but definitely the way we are sustaining 10,500, that gives a comfort of taking a long position with a stop somewhere around 10,480. Keeping that in mind, I think there are fair chances that we might see a move towards 10,600 or 620. So I think if someone wants to take a trade at an index level, definitely 10,480 could be kept as a stop loss for going long into the market.
All right.
Okay, so those are the option strategies. And Ashish, you were talking about the IT pack. I'm going to shift focus to the buzzing stock futures for the day. And what a move we're seeing on both the large cap as well as the mid cap IT stocks. In fact, we've already highlighted that Nifty IT is one of the top sectoral gainers for the day. Pull up the chart of Infosys. That stock's trading with gains of almost 3%. And obviously, Tata Elxsi is also seeing some strength in today's session. No major build-up seen, however, for the February futures. And pull up Tata Elxsi as well. 5% higher when it comes to the open interest. Agam, was it expected post the Cognizant numbers? Is it a reaction to that?
Well, not necessarily, because Tata Elxsi, deals with very specifically, and I wouldn't really read too much into the Cognizant numbers, except for the guidance part, because they've guided for another 8 to 10%, revenue growth for this upcoming financial year, which is largely bang in between the guidances or the growth expectations from analysts for the top 4 listed IT companies in the Indian markets. So I wouldn't exactly pinpoint the reason for the gains in the IT in stocks for now just on Cognizance.
I think the biggest takeaway from Q3 earnings with regard to IT pack was there were no negative surprises. Maybe the numbers could be muted, but there were no negative surprises. Ashish, I'll come to you. A large cap stock like Infi is also doing well. Will you still stick to the mid cap IT pack?
So I think selectively large cap also can do well from these levels. I think Infosys has a potential itself to test 1220, 1230 levels on upside. But definitely, KPIT and Tata Elxsi, these are the two names I have been recommending for a while, and I think they are showing very good strength. And they were holding on when the markets were falling. So I think KPIT still looks good for 225, 228 levels in a very short to medium term. On downside, 210 should be kept as a trading stop loss. Tata Elxsi again, after forming a strong base somewhere around 980 zone, I think is getting ready for 1060, 1070 mark. So I see a good 50 to 60 rupees upside from current levels in Tata Elxsi. Keep stop loss somewhere around 980 and can initiate a long position in Tata Elxsi even at current levels.
Okay, so that's the view on Tata Elxsi, and of course there's just one more stock that I do want to address, because Cipla is the largest gainer in today's job trade, at least as far as the Nifty stocks go. It's gained as much as 5.5%, and its open interest is also up 12%. So there is some amount of momentum building. It's currently trading at around 601, at least as far as February futures go. Ashish, what do we do with Cipla?
So, post results, we have seen this kind of, up move coming into the stock, which might result into good amount of short covering, because last couple of weeks and months stock has been continuously on a sliding downtrend. So I think now going forward, we might see good amount of short covering, which can take stock towards 630 odd zone, which means around 5 to 6% upside from current levels. On downside, I think 585, 590 is a strong support level. So keeping that in mind, I think Cipla is in upward trajectory from current levels.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Cipla. That's the top F&O security for the day in terms of on the gaining side. The other stock which has been doing well is BHEL. Let's pull up that. That's seen gains of almost over 3% so far in today's session. Let's check if the futures have seen any build up. So the futures are trading with a mild bit of discount. Open interest higher, almost 5%. Gaurav, I come to you at levels of 97.3 on the spot BHEL. Would you take any trade?
As a matter of fact, I would not. If you look at the option, you will get a much better picture. There's a lot of riding that we are seeing in 100 strike call option. So unless you don't cross those levels, there's a possibility it may retrace back towards 94, 93, 94 kind of levels. So I would not be buying at this point in time.
Okay, so well, not necessarily a very should I say, concrete view on BHEL out there, but we'll address the other stock which is also doing very well in today's day of trade, along with Cipla, and that's the momentum that we've seen in SRF. Again, when it comes to SRF, we've seen the stock advance by as much as 5.5–6%. There you have it, about 5–5.5% currently. That's the underlying. It's currently trading at a slight discount, but still at around 1868, with a near 14% increase in the open interest towards its February futures. SRF has seen, or rather has been volatile over the past couple of weeks. Again, Ashish, what would you do with SRF?
So I think structurally it's in a very strong uptrend, although it saw a good amount of profit booking from 2050 to 1650, and that was in generally we have seen most of the mid to large cap companies seeing a good amount of profit booking. So post this, I think SRF has a potential to cross 2050 mark, which was its previous all-time high. So I see a very strong possibility of SRF outperforming the broader indices. On downside, 1805, 1810 is a strong support. So keeping that in mind, I think a positional trade could be initiated in SRF.
Well, the counter has gone up on high volumes as well on the cash side. If you look at the current volumes on NSE, they're almost a double to what was traded in yesterday's session. Okay, let's switch focus and talk about viewer queries. We've received some queries on our social media platform. The first query today comes from Revati Kumar. She writes to us on Twitter. She's long on HPCL February futures at a price of 370. She wants to know if this is the right time for her to book profits. Can we check what the current price is? I remember yesterday the oil marketing companies were pretty active in trade. 370 is the level where she bought, and the futures currently trade around the mark of 395. Gaurav, is this the level to book profits, or she should hold on?
I think it would be prudent if she books the profit. I think there's a possibility that some sort of unwinding might happen at a little bit higher level. So I think the risk is quite favorable. One can book profits at the current price.
All right, that's the view on HPCL. Okay, so our next query is for Ashish. This one's from one of our regular viewers, Girish Kumar. He has said, kindly ask Mr. Ashish, as he had a February granules India call, and will it reach 160? He has 4 lots at 149.
So I think going forward, if he's looking for a February target, I think we are expecting 130 to 133 levels, which can be good, 4 to 5% upside from current levels, and that's a level we are looking. The entire, pharma basket has formed some kind of base at a lower level. So I see a good possibility of, granules seeing a move towards 130 to 133. As far as 160, 155 is concerned, it might take some time. So maybe he has to roll over his positions to the mass series, but definitely in a short to medium term, a good 4 to 5% upside could be seen.
Ashish, so currently as it stands, he's looking at a substantial potential loss because his entry point is 149. So you recommend that he hold on to his position right now, and
so I think he has already seen a good amount of downside,
right.
and keeping that in mind, I think now 115, 116 will become a very, very strong support for the stock. So till we don't see a break below 115, 16, it will be prudent to carry forward the position, and till it doesn't break 115, 16, chances of stock hitting on a higher side becomes very high.
All right, yeah.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Granules India. Our next query is from Shubham Gandhi, who writes to us on YouTube. He's asking if our experts could suggest some call option to buy. And if I'm reading his message correctly, he's suggesting that where the margin requirement should only be 10,000 rupees. Gaurav, I'll come to you. Would you advise any sort of option buying to Shubham where margin requirement should not exceed maybe 10,000 rupees?
Indigo has given a breakout, so if he's comfortable buying a stock option, I think that can be a decent strategy, and his entire corpus or the investment amount would not be more than what he's wanting. So I think 1280 call option or 1260 call option, for that matter, that's a decent strategy. It can see a good spike. Indigo itself can test levels of 1300. So if he's buying a 1260 call option, that can become in the money today or by tomorrow.
All right, we'll move on to the next query from another one of our regulars. This one is on YouTube from Bikash Pekare, and he has the 26,000 Bank Nifty call at around 325, and he wants to get a view on this one. Gaurav, I'll come back to you on this one.
I'm not sure, Agam, whether it's call or put.
It's a call or put, actually.
Yeah,
yes,
he's not mentioned. And if going by the premium today, it's declined by 188. I think it'll be on the put side.
Can we take a look at both the calls and the puts just to get an idea of where this stands? Okay, so the call, of course, is certainly not. It's certainly the put then. So it's currently trading at 206. His entry point is at 325. So looking at a little bit of a loss. Actually, quite a bit of a loss. Gaurav, what can Bikash do with his position right now?
I think buying in the money put option is not the best option. Even if there's a small upside of 50-60 rupees from here, it would act like a future. If you have 50 rupees more loss, I would suggest a stop loss of 25,920 spot levels. 50 rupees from the current price. I think that can be the ideal strategy. If it fails to sustain those levels, there is a possibility we may dip towards levels of 25,750, in which case he might get a better exit level than what it is trading at at this point in time. But overall, I would not suggest to hold for the entire series. There's a possibility that Bank Nifty may test levels of 26,000 again. So for a dip towards 25,700, 25,750, he can hold on with a stop loss of 25,920 on the spot side.
Okay, Bank Nifty has seen a bit of strength in today's session. I guess the gains are being led by both the private as well as the PSU banking space, which is up nearly 1%. Well, on that note, let's get you some trading strategies for the day. Ashish, I'll come to you in terms of individual stock futures. What would you recommend?
So I think KPIT is one stock which is showing very good strength, although it has already moved up, but I think still the trend is looking very, very strong. Keep a stop around 213. On upside, 228, 230 could be the positional target in KPIT Technologies. Second would be Jubilant Food. Now, if you look at, this has been consolidating near its support zone around 2000 levels. I think stock has a very strong possibility of, seeing a good amount of upside towards 2100 levels. So this could be bought with a stop around 1975, 1980. On upside to 2100 could be the target in next 3-4 trading sessions in Jubilant Food.
All right, Gaurav, how about you? What are you recommending today's day of trade?
The first recommendation would be buy on MCX. It has seen a 2% over reduction. So short covering has started yesterday. Today also we have seen some of the short covering coming in, and it can head towards those of 770. It's moved up a bit. So now one can trail stop loss towards 732 on the upside. 770 becomes quite possible. Second was buy on Ashok Leyland. It's already moved up 3 rupees. So now it's not having that lucrative risk reward. So, like I said, Indigo is looking quite strong. With a stop loss of 1225, one can buy Indigo at the current price. On the upside, targets of 1300 can be seen.
Okay, so those are the trading strategies. I just want to pull up Dalmia Bharat. I guess that stock's just moved higher in the last 5 minutes of trade. If you could just pull up the intraday chart and also the futures plate and see what exactly is happening. This is the futures plate. Stocks up nearly 3%, and this is the intraday chart as you almost at day's high. Ashish, at these levels, would you take a trade here?
So, it can be a pullback trade, but not a very convincing buy. So, definitely, since it has fallen since the 3200 odd levels, you can see a pullback rally towards 2900 odd zone. But, as a trading bet, it can be, it could be bought with a stop somewhere around 2740-50, but it's not a very strong directional trend at this point of time.
All right, so that's a view on Dalmia Bharat. Okay, so well, with that, we're going to thank our both our experts, Ashish as well as Gaurav, for joining us and taking us through their views as well as solving some of our viewer queries. But we'll shift focus to earnings then. We have Kaveri Seed Company, which has reported a strong December quarter. The profit for the quarter jumped more than 50%. The margins saw a healthy uptick. To discuss the quarter gone by, we're joined by the CFO of the company, Mr. G. Vijay Kumar. He joins us on the phone line from Telangana. Mr. Vijay Kumar, thanks for joining us. I do understand that a majority of your revenues come in the first quarter of the financial year. Yet, in comparison, we have seen a good uptick for this particular quarter as well. Can you take us through the factors that you attribute to what the third quarter how the third quarter has been, and what you can expect with respect to the fourth quarter as well?
See, normally third quarter is a Rabi, predominantly Rabi relevant quarter only. But this quarter we are grown only 4% compared to last year, whereas PAT we grown more than 53%. This year we can grow much more further also because of the exports were affected negatively. In the Bangladesh, normally we export maize. This year there was a severe crop shift from maize to Rabi, hybrid paddy happened. So that is the reason exports a little bit dented. Otherwise we would have been grown more than 4% compared to last year. Otherwise also we are shown good growth this year. Bottom line 53% we are grown.
All right, Mr. Ravi Kumar, beg your pardon, Mr. Vijay Kumar. What I also wanted to understand was that how has crop acreage turned out for this year so far, and what is the capacity of a farmer to buy seeds in the increment as compared to the previous year, if you consider the year-to-date performance and expectations?
See, in the cotton now, predominantly 95% always they are buying the branded seed only. Now recently the conversion maize and hybrid paddy and paddy is increasing every year 12 to 15%. Going forward, it will increase further. And this year yields were affected a little bit because of the uneven rainfalls and unseasonal rainfalls. But if you see the cotton price or commodity prices better than last year, it is more than 5,000 is there. Last year, at the same time, it is 4,600. It is now more than 5,000. So we are expecting that the first quarter of this season, Kharif season, again, it will grow another 5 to 10% of the increase will be there in acreage, and we will grow 15 to 20% in top line.
Okay, sir. So when it comes to the fourth quarter, can we expect a performance similar to that which we have seen in the third quarter as well?
Fourth quarter is not falls under anything, no, Kabi or Rabi, no. It's not coming under Kharif or Rabi. So fourth quarter, normally any seed industry we don't consider. It's only for expenditure quarter only because we will gear up for the first quarter. That is the reason a lot of processing will happen. And fourth quarter only normally bit of vegetable seed sales will be there. And in the spillover of the Rabi will be little bit will be there. And normally scrap sales will be there. Fourth quarter is not a profitable quarter for any seed company.
I understand, Mr. Vijay Kumar, but finally, a question on your outlook for, your biggest quarter, that is the first quarter of FY19. So, any indications as to what we can expect as we move in, or is it still a bit early?
No. You can. I can give a clarity now itself because already very close to the first quarter. We are already in February. We are expecting top line will grow 15 to 20% on top line and 20% plus in bottom line. We are expecting the growth in first quarter.
Okay, Mr. Vijay Kumar, we leave it at that. Thanks for joining us and giving us an update as well as the outlook for Kaveri Seed Company. For now, of course, the stock is up as much as 1%. It's doing reasonably all right. It's traded in the red and the green, not too much to speak for. Currently trading at around 473. But with that, we're at the end of the show. So it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But lots more lined up, so don't go anywhere and stay tuned to the Bloomberg Quint.